A funeral home in Ohio now has a liquor license. Sotheby's is going to auction off an ancient Ten Commandments tablet. And sex workers in Zimbabwe have run out of condoms. They're using baby socks. These are the weird stories for Thursday on Weird AF News, the only daily weird news podcast in existence. Right. A funeral home is going to operate with a liquor license. So I guess this is the first funeral home with a 2-drink minimum. They're going to make a killing off this. Not that pun intended. This story is out of Columbus, Ohio. A funeral home could soon serve mourners in a new way: alcohol. The Evergreen Funeral, Cremation, and Reception is set to open next year. They applied for a liquor license and could soon be serving people during services. Sounds like they're going to be doing some Irish wakes. After all, you guys familiar? There's a joke about that. You know the difference between an Irish wake and an Irish wedding? One less drunk. Well, I personally think this is a fabulous idea. Why not serve some hot wings while you're at it? Turn the crematorium into a brick oven pizzeria. Wouldn't that be amazing? I know I, for one, would go to a lot more funerals if there was some booze being served while there. You can imagine. You're like, I don't want to go to Auntie's funeral. There's an open bar, dear. Oh, I miss Auntie so much. I must go and pay my respects. Oh, I miss you, Auntie. Oh, can someone pass the tequila? It says here the owners of the funeral home say this is a unique twist to a celebration of life, and they want to change how people view an average funeral. Their mission is to make the process of a very difficult time a little easier. Yeah, and also they want to make some money, so which I'm sure they will. Here's a quote from the owner of the funeral home. My role in this position is to kind of be a party planner for the dead, be more of a celebration of life than more of the multi-day traditional services, which cost a lot of money. I would like to shed, the reputation of these services being dark and morbid by offering manageable prices and the option for mourners to raise a toast to a loved one with a bar. Imagine also you could make some signature drinks for the funeral home bar. Like you could serve something called like an Mbama Mama, an Undertaker Mule, a Heaven Up, Raise the Spirits Sling. Those are the ones I came up with. Do you have any you want to add? A Dark and Deathly. That's like a take on a Dark and Stormy. I'm just throwing things at the wall, guys, seeing what sticks. The article goes on to say, if the Liquor Commission approves the permit, they will be issued a D3 liquor license, which allows the sale of beer, wine, and hard liquor for consumption on site. The owner says, we will only be serving alcohol when people are on this premises and remain on the premises until the continuation of the services, just for the safety of the people in the community around. He says adding a bar will allow people to make the service more personalized. Now, I'm wondering if, can you have a drink if you don't know the deceased? Can you just kind of look in the recent funerals and wakes going on and just show up and pretend? Yeah, this could be another way to meet some ladies, I'd imagine, right? They're going to need to get a bouncer for these events, I'd imagine, because you got to card people and make sure that they're allowed in for the services and whatnot. They must know the deceased or be related, etc. I'd imagine. But it would be fun to crash these things, You could make a whole weekend of it, Yeah, I got another one of these at 6. This is my second one today. You can imagine the kind of cool, funny commercials you could come up with for this funeral home once it gets the bar installed. Like Evergreen Funeral Home. We have all the services you expect at a regular funeral home, in addition to our open bar. Come check it out. RIP at affordable prices. Ask about our cremate rebate. Evergreen Funeral. Putting the fun back in funeral. Sotheby's is going to auction off an ancient Ten Commandments tablet. Oh, I wonder if it's an original signed by Moses, the Mose dog. Let's learn about this and how much you think they're going to get for it. One of the earliest tablets inscribed with the Ten Commandments is scheduled to go up for auction at Sotheby's. The auctioneer says it's a rare example of a complete tablet dating to the years 300 to 800. The marble slab weighs 115 pounds, is approximately 2 feet tall, and is carved with Paleo-Hebrew script. It was unearthed in 1913 during railroad excavations in the Ottoman Empire, which is present-day Israel, but its significance was unrecognized for decades. It was even used as part of the entrance to a local home at some point. The tablet's text is worn where people walked across it. So it was on the ground. Why would you put the Ten Commandments on the ground? Gotta hang these bad boys behind glass, preferably. And by the way, a private sale seems bizarre. Shouldn't this go into a museum? You would think it'd be in a museum like that. What's that Noah's Ark museum in the Midwest? Like they should have this, or the Vatican maybe. I mean, they have a lot of money, from what I've heard. This tablet, it says, only has 9 of the 10 commandments mentioned in the book of Exodus. It's missing, "Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord in vain." All right, so this isn't really a complete 10 commandments. This is more like the 9 commandments. So can you just like write the other one in so that we all know, make it complete? Imagine if they had all 15 commandments, that would be incredible. You guys know originally it was 15 commandments, and then Moses dropped one of the tablets. I'm referencing a movie. Have you seen this movie? Was it A History of the World? It's Mel Brooks. He's playing Moses, and he comes out on the top of the mountain with 3 tablets that have 5 commandments on each of them, and then he says, "Jehovah has given me these 15," drops one, 10 commandments for you all to heed. 10 commandments. Oh, man, what a funny scene. All right, now Sotheby's has a description of the tablet. "This remarkable tablet is not only a vastly important historical artifact, but a tangible link to the beliefs that helped shape all of Western civilization." Sotheby's has set the opening bid for the tablet at $1 million, which seems a little cheap for some ancient 10 commandments. 9 commandments. 9 commandments. Well, I mean, considering that banana duct taped to the wall got, what, $6 million for that thing? The 9 commandments should get, at least that, you would think. I know it's not, the original, but, it's close enough. They should auction off the Ark of the Covenant, too. You could probably get some nice coin for that bad boy, if they can find it. The rumor is that one of the rumors is it's in Ethiopia. Did you hear this theory? The Ark of the Covenant's in Ethiopia. Strange place. This whole time I thought the Germans had it, from that Indiana Jones movie that I watched. Turns out not historically accurate after all. Who knew? Well, it'll be fascinating to see who purchases these old 9 commandment tablets. Probably someone like Joel Osteen. Shove it into his mega church or on his private plane. You know what you should do with it? You should put it in a school and see if it stops shootings.
This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in places that could expose you to identity theft. That's why LifeLock monitors millions of data points every second. If your identity is stolen, their US-based restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed or your money back. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
Sex workers in Zimbabwe are using baby socks as there's a condom shortage. Despite the government's denial of a nationwide shortage, areas such as Masvingo, Mutare, Harare, Seke, Epworth in Zimbabwe are experiencing severe supply shortages on the condoms. The shortage is due to a combination of delayed restocking by health facilities, hoarding by some sex workers, and mismanagement of supplies by healthcare workers overall. As a result, they're saying sex workers in Zimbabwe are being forced to improvise. And without a lack of condoms, it's put them in a dire situation where they're using strange things, such as newborn baby socks. Imagine that, baby socks instead of condoms. I'm no doctor, but that doesn't sound like it's going to work. And what about the chafing? I mean, that sounds like it's going to cause a lot of chafing. If I had a baby sock on the tip, that might be some painful activity going on at that point. I don't know if it's even worth it. But I don't know. I never used a baby sock. I used a Dorito bag once. Just kidding. I never used a Dorito bag, nor a sandwich bag, although those sound like more reasonable solutions than a baby sock. Let's keep reading and find out why they chose a baby sock. They interviewed somebody for this article. They don't say whether it's a sex worker or a health official, but it says, quote, "You fold them, insert them, and they prevent fluids and sperm from reaching the cervix." Do they? I don't know about that. You might want to hold on to those baby socks for 9 months after you use them here for this for this activity, because you're probably going to have a baby. And so then you could just use your baby socks for the baby that you're about to have. But, wash it first. Wash it first. Don't put them on the baby. Why does the village call you Sticky Toes Amanda? Oh, yeah, well, I was conceived during that condom shortage. You know how it is. It says in areas such as Comboni, Yatsva, Epworth, some sex workers are even collecting discarded baby socks from mothers to use in their work. So you mean the socks that they're throwing away? This sounds like a disaster over there. I don't know. There's got to be a better solution than baby socks. I mean, they fold them and just put them inside to act as some kind of sponge or something. I originally thought that they just put it on the male member, which would be, that's kind of crazy because it's a baby sock, and I don't know if that's gonna. Yeah, it's not going to fit me, I'll just tell you right now. I'm going to need an adult-size, old-school, striped NBA tube sock. I'm just saying. Or a cow onesie. A cow onesie probably would do the trick. Oh, jokes, guys, jokes. This shouldn't be a joking matter. It's actually quite sad. I mean, can we get these people some condoms? How hard is that to get them some condoms? They interviewed a doctor for this story named Bernard, who's CEO of the National AIDS Council, who denies there is a nationwide condom shortage, claiming the country has sufficient supplies for now. Well, then why this baby sock story, sir? If there's plenty of condoms, I don't think they'd be resorting to items that just seem a little risky. It says international donors like the U.S. President's Emergency Plan for AIDS Relief have announced they will stop funding condom programs by 2026, heightening concerns for the future. Why would you stop funding the condom programs? There's a baby sock epidemic going on down in Zimbabwe. I think you need to continue to fund the condom programs for people like this, places like this. It's so much cheaper to fund the condom program than to fund the medical services that are needed if you don't use condoms. I'm talking STDs, HIV, and then, pregnancies, whatnot, abortions. I don't know if they do. I assume they do abortions there. I don't know. Well, I can tell you this. I mean, there's just going to be a lot of kids, from these sex workers, because this ain't going to work. There's going to be a lot of fun wedding speeches, though, in the next few years. Oh, you'll never believe how we had little Johnny. Conceived during the socks years. You guys remember those days? Oh, we had an epidemic of cold baby feet for a number of months as well. Never forget that. Hi, my friends and loyal listeners of my Weird AF News podcast. Thank you for joining me. Appreciate it. If you're new to the show, please consider subscribing if you're into weird news 5 days a week. Just FYI, on Friday, I only do weird news from Florida. That means tomorrow, it'll be Florida Friday. If you come across any weird news from Florida, please email me a link. I would appreciate that. It's funnyjones@gmail.com, or you can slide them into my DMs as well, @funnyjones on Instagram. Very helpful. I want to give some shout-out, thanks and praise. First of all, my man Ronnie Tucker just joined the Patreon, so we want to give a shout-out to Ronnie Tucker. Ronnie joining the Patreon, showing some love for Jonesy during the holiday season, so we appreciate that, Ronnie Tucker. Please enjoy the extra content in the Patreon. And if you guys want to join the Patreon like the amazing Ronnie Tucker, the generous Ronnie Tucker has done, go to weirdafnews.com and click on the Patreon banner, or go to patreon.com/weirdafnews and do it that way. Also, some people have bought me coffee in the last 24 hours. So we have Daniil Furman, who bought me coffee and wrote, "Happy holidays, Pod Daddy Jonesy." Pod Daddy Jonesy. Thank you for laughter throughout the year And good luck with your life, man. It was a very sweet and lovely message, so appreciate that. Shout out to Daniil Furman. Another individual bought me coffees. Eric James Pittman wrote, "Love your show, Jonesy. Thanks for doing it. We need more fun things in life like this." I agree, Eric James Pittman. You're a very wise man. We need more fun things in life like this. I try to have a lot of fun, though, still. Even though it sometimes seems like there's not a lot of fun going on in life, you can find little pockets of fun here and there. And if you can't find it, you just make your own, man. Just make your own. Shout out to Eric, though, for the coffees. Also, we got Joe Fernandez buying me some coffee. Writes, "Merry Christmas, Jonesy. It's Joe from Reno, Nevada. Thanks for bringing all the jokes and being my favorite podcast. Weird AF and you make the holidays tolerable." Isn't that lovely from Joe, who I actually met in Reno? Oh, man, when was that? That must have been like 2018 or something. Man, it's been a while, Joe. Shout out to Joe for buying coffees as well. This is very generous of you guys to buy me coffees. I so appreciate that. So thank you. If you want to buy coffees like these amazing, generous listeners, then please go to weirdafnews.com and click on the Buy a Coffee banner, or just go to buymeacoffee.com/funnyjones. And I believe there's a link in the description of this podcast as well, so you can buy a coffee for the holidays, and I so appreciate that. Shout out to Connie from Cedarton, Georgia, who sent me a nice, lovely care package for the holidays. Some amazing coffee and some buttermilk biscuit mix. So I'm going to be able to make some buttermilk biscuits, which I've never attempted to do so before. And some Christmas jam to go with the buttermilk biscuits. I mean, isn't that amazing? I'm all taken care of this holiday. So shout out to Connie as well. Very generous. I appreciate all the love, guys. And as you know, you may not know, Michael from Iowa City is going to match all of the gifts that I get. He's going to donate $1 for everyone who either buys me a coffee or joins the Patreon or sends me a donation all the way up to New Year's. So very, very generous of Michael as well. Shout out to him. And I guess I'll let you go. I don't want to keep you for too long. Tomorrow we're going to do the Florida Friday stories. And so hit me up about that if you got some Florida news that you come across. All right, well, take care of yourself, and I'll see you tomorrow.